Hey guys, welcome back. Before you ask Gemini another personal question, check this setting. Because depending on the connections enabled on your phone, Gemini can work with things like WhatsApp, messages, phone, and contacts. And that's not all. It can also connect with Gmail, Google Photos, YouTube, Google Search, and other Google services. Now, think about that for a second. Your messages, your contacts, your emails, your photos. That's a lot of personal information sitting behind one AI assistant. And the interesting part is, you don't have to keep all of these connections enabled to use Gemini. So if you want to keep Gemini away from information it doesn't actually need, let me show you the settings you need to check. Open Gemini, or simply open Gemini in your browser. Tap these two lines. Now your profile picture. Here, tap Personal Intelligence. First, look at Memory. If this is on, Gemini can use information from your previous Gemini chats to personalize future conversations. If you're serious about privacy, turn this off. But we're not done yet, because right underneath this is where things get really interesting. Connected Apps. Tap Connected Apps. And now we're going through these one by one, because some of these connections are very important from a privacy perspective than others. First is Google Workspace. This is the one you should pay attention to immediately, because this single connection can include things like Gmail, Calendar, Google Docs, Drive, and more. Now, think about what's inside those services: your private emails, your documents, your personal files, your schedule, your notes. If you don't need Gemini working with your workspace information, turn Google Workspace off. Next is Google Search Services, and this can connect Gemini with services like Google Search, Maps, Shopping, Flights, Hotels, Translate, and News. And this is where Gemini can get additional context to make its answers more useful and personalized. That sounds convenient, but if you want to minimize how much information Gemini can use about you, turn Google Search Services off. Next is Google Photos, and this one deserves your attention. Your Photos library may contain screenshots, documents, family pictures, and all kinds of information you probably don't think about as data. Some photos can even reveal where you've been or what you're doing. So if you don't need Gemini connected to your photos, turn it off. Next is YouTube. Gemini can connect with YouTube for supported features. But the question is, if you don't actually use Gemini with YouTube, then turn YouTube off. Don't worry, this doesn't affect your YouTube normal usage. It simply removes the Gemini connection. Next is Messages. Now, think about this. Your text messages may contain some very personal and sensitive conversations, so if you don't use Gemini with your messages, turn this off too. Then there's Phone. This allows Gemini to work with supported calling features. If you don't use Gemini for calls, turn Phone off. You're not disabling your phone, you're only removing the Gemini connection. Now we go to WhatsApp, and this is one I definitely check. Think about your WhatsApp. Private conversations, family groups, personal photos, videos, documents, years of messages. If you don't need Gemini working with WhatsApp, turn it off. Then you'll see Utilities. This connection allows Gemini to perform certain supported actions, like open apps, take a selfie, and control other day-to-day settings on your device. If you don't use those features, turn Utilities off. Next is Contacts. Your contacts contain information about the people you communicate with. If you don't need Gemini using them, turn Contacts off. And then there's Verify AI. This one is different. It's designed to help you check whether certain images, videos, or audio have been generated or modified by AI. If you actually use this feature, keep it enabled. But if you don't, you can leave it turned off. And there's one last setting I wouldn't leave unchecked. It's called Gemini Apps Activity, because if Keep Activity is on, your Gemini activity can be saved to your Google account. So if you've been having personal conversations with Gemini, check this before you leave. Go back. Tap the two lines again. Now tap Gemini App's activity. Tap on the On button, and for a more private setup, choose Turn Off and Delete Activity. And if you see Auto Delete, set it to 3 months instead of keeping your activity longer. Now, here's the important part. I'm not telling you to turn every connection off. Instead, look at each one and ask yourself, do I actually need Gemini connected to this? If the answer is no, then turn it off. If you use the feature, keep it enabled. That's how you get more privacy without giving up the Gemini features you actually want to. If you found this useful, subscribe for more privacy and security tips. Thanks for watching.